Hey, what's up, man?
It's happening. This is
It's
it.
happening. It's kind of a fun fact. You know, it's the very first time I've ever actually initiated a live on my side.
There you go. We're popping your cherry.
I
Let's
know.
go.
I know, all because of you. I'm normally the joiner. I've never done it myself, so I actually am like trying to figure out how to do it.
There
So a
you
little bit
go.
more technical side to it.
Now it's just now this is the start of great things to happen. More is coming soon. Jeff's doing a daily show. Look at it.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
How
So
come you
how
haven't done IG lives, dude?
you know, I don't know. I've joined a lot of lives. I've watched a lot of lives. I just never actually done it. I've never done it.
I think if you started doing IG lives with coaching, you'd have a blast, and it builds the brand too, but also you'd have a ton of fun. Like you bring people in and you coach them.
Sure. No, I mean it sounds fun, and it's kind of unique because normally I'm on the bottom, so it's like I'm used to like staring at the top at the guest. Now I have to stare at the bottom to see you. So it's so we're gonna get comfortable with it.
He's got it. No, but if you go live, you could bring your own audience in too, right? And then you could coach them and help them, and they'll have
Yeah.
questions, and people will join from around the world. And anyway, I think you'd have a blast doing it.
I mean today we're gonna try it. Today's the first day, and I'm thankful that I get to do it with no one better than you.
Let's go. So what do we
Yeah.
got?
So thank you. So actually, the premise of today is, as I know I told you, I'm writing my very first book. It's on the power of relationship capital. And one of the unique elements that I'm really excited to introduce in the book is not just my perspective on how it's helped me and allowed me to grow and develop as a human in both my personal and professional life, but talk to rock star friends of mine, people like yourself that are crushing the game in their own industry, their own way, and add their unique perspective. So it's a collaboration of perspective on this. So the audience can really understand, like, hey, I'm not like Jeff in this way. I'm more like Evan, or I'm more like somebody else, and I do things differently. How can it apply to me, or is it even beneficial to me? So I have three questions I'm excited to ask you.
Let's go.
You ready?
I'm
All
ready,
right.
dude. I'm ready.
Okay. Question one: what does relationship capital mean to you, and how has it impacted or affected your life?
So this has always been a struggle for me because I'm an introvert. I'm not the life of any party. I never introduce myself to people. I don't talk to people on the airplane next to me, like none of that stuff. I recognize as an entrepreneur, the importance of, your network. And I've met a lot of awesome people, and my network has helped me through a lot of different things, but I'm not great at going and talking to people and opening up conversations. Um, I've had to learn how to hack it over the past couple of years. So, for example, when I go to networking events,
Mm-hmm.
at the start, I would never go to a networking event. Like, stand up and tell me about yourself would destroy me, right? It's just, I don't know what to say. So I flipped it by becoming a speaker. And so the speaking is really the permission for then people to come up and talk to me because they have some kind of context on me and questions to ask. So I
Mm-hmm.
started doing speaking gigs, and whenever it's a multi-day event, I want to be. People often want to hire me to close the show, and I'm like, hey, have me open the show. Like have me, because then when you close the show, you don't have conversations. So I'd much rather be on day one or open the show so that over the next 3 days that we're at this event, people will stop me in the hallway and ask me questions and facilitate conversations. So then people end up coming to me and they tell me about themselves. And then I end up forming connections and relationships because of it. So that was one way that I super hacked it as an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the pro of being an introvert is we're good listeners. And so when people would tell me what they're working on, I would remember it as opposed to waiting for me to, like, I'm instead of rushing them so that I can get to my point, I'm listening to them, which allows me to actually listen to them to figure out how I can help them. And so, do you know the YouTube channel Charisma on Command?
I've heard of it. I
Okay,
don't.
so
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Charlie runs it. Great channel, great guy. I met him at an event, a YouTube event in California, and he ended up making a video on me afterwards and called me a master networker. Like, how am I a master networker? Like, I gotta watch this video because I don't understand what he's talking about because I feel like the least networking person of all time. But
But it could be because you don't focus on networking. You, like you said, you focus on listening.
well, and
And
here's what ended up happening. Like, his point was actually great. I just didn't. He broke it down in a way that seemed automatic to me, but I didn't. I was just doing it without even thinking of it as a strategy. Where because you listen to people, every new person that I met, I would listen to what they were doing and what they needed, and then I say, "Oh, have you talked to Charlie? Because he's doing this." And, "Oh, have you talked to this person? Because she's doing that." And I ended up going over and introducing them because I knew what they both wanted, and I knew that they could make that connection without me being in the way. I mean, it's like, just go talk to him. I can't help you with that. Go talk to Jeff. He's the guy. But because I set up the connection to Jeff, now all of a sudden I'm the master networker, right?
Sure.
So it's just about listening to people. So how do you get people to come and talk to you? Which was, hey, go be a speaker on the stage, and then listen to them and trying to make connections between people has super worked out. And then a third one I would say is I suck at following up with people. Super suck. Like, I just forget to message people. I'm not the remembering your birthday kind of guy, or just, hey, how you doing? Like, never. I never send just those kinds of messages. I connect with people through the work. So if we're working on something, awesome. Like, you're working this book, great. I love it. Can I contribute? Can I help? Let's go. But just like hanging out and stuff is like just no interest. So I used to kind of forget to stay in touch with some of these people who've had a big impact, on my business. So I started keeping an Evernote file of the top 50 people or so who I've met who could move my business forward and I want to maintain a relationship with. And I keep track of the last time I did something with them, whether it was a YouTube live, Instagram live, YouTube live, video, email, something. And at least once a quarter, I have to find a way to stay in touch with them. At least once a quarter.
Smart.
And so I just keep track, but I wouldn't remember. So I have to look at every Friday. I look at my Evernote and I see who's been over 3 months since I connected with them. And I'm usually finding some way to reach out with value. Like, hey, Jeff, dude, I saw your new book came out. Awesome. Can I help market, promote? How's it going? Right. Or I'm giving people feedback on their YouTube channel, or like I'm just looking at, what do they need help with? What are they talking about right now? I go to their Instagram and what's the link in their bio? It's usually the thing that people are promoting the most. And how can I be a part of that? And maybe even it could be as simple as posting a story to Instagram and tagging them. And if they see it, just trying to find ways to stay top of mind, because I would normally forget how to do that. So the relationship capital, back to your question, I think is super, super important for entrepreneurs, especially. I just kind of attack it in a different way than most people of going to networking events and introducing yourself and all that stuff.
I like it. You basically lead with value.
Lead with value. Lead with value. There you go. That's a short way to put it. I gave these 3 long answers, and
well, it's good because one of my chapters is lead with value, so I know exactly where your contribution's going. I already got it. Question 2: would you rather have $1 million cash or have 1,000 meaningful real relationships?
That's interesting. I don't know what is a meaningful real relationship.
So not superficial, but like true relationship. You can call those people, and it's a deeper relationship versus just on the surface acquaintance. Not acquaintances, but $1 million or 1,000 real relationships.
Well, I guess the easy answer is 1,000 relationships. The way I basically work is I have my wife, and for just talking about my day and whatever, I only need my wife. Like, I don't really have friends.
She's your social coordinator.
She's my social circle. Like, I don't have friends. Okay. I don't watch the game with people. So this is where I'm like the introverted part takes over. 1,000 friends actually scares me.
Okay.
Right? Like 1,000 people to have deep, meaningful relationships with, where if it's like on that level where I'm sharing deep stuff, like I can't handle 1,000. That overwhelms me. So I'd rather take $1 million.
Okay.
But the 1,000 people who I could call on, like I know there's some people who I may not have been in touch with for a year, but if I was in a problem and I needed help, they would have my back.
Sure.
If it's 1,000 of those kind of people, then yeah, I'm taking 1,000 people.
I guess it essentially is, right? Because it's the premise of the question is to get to the initial response is I'll take $1 million. But if I knew of 1,000 of the right people, could I technically make more than $1 million in value out of those relationships? Or no, like Neil Patel, a good friend of mine, he answered the question, well, I'll just put $1 million in the bank and live off the interest. So I'll take the money, right? So there's no right or wrong answer. It's just I want the perspective of all these people that I look up to and value their opinion, so we can provide that context back, which is sometimes money is not I'm trying to push forward in the book that money is the least important capital that you can have. That relationship capital is more meaningful than money because what it can create, but it's not true for everybody. It's just been true for me. So no shade on how you answer or your answer, but that was kind of the direction. And I'm just curious, obviously, as an introvert from the Great White North, what would it mean to you?
Yeah. So we have this. This is great. If I didn't talk to you for 3 years for whatever reason, and then you said, "Hey, Evan,"
I'd be mad at you, by the way.
Yeah. Well, no, not like I'm ghosting you or ignoring you or anything, but
Sure.
just like whatever life. If I didn't see you again for 3 years, but then you're saying you DM me and say, "Hey, Evan, I'm going hard on my YouTube channel. I'd love some feedback." Say, "Yeah, man, let's go. Let's talk next week. What can we do?" Even though I haven't seen you for 3 years, right? Like
Yep.
That's how I'll operate. I like collecting good people. I like having good people around me. When I find someone, I try to hold on to them. But it doesn't, for me. I don't need to be in touch with them every week to maintain the relationship. But a lot of people kind of need that. A lot of people need the daily, maybe not daily, but consistent check-ins just to see how you're doing. And I have zero value for that.
That's okay. So I'm gonna before I ask you the last question, how is it up in Canada right now?
With what? With COVID?
So,
With your election?
all my family's in Canada. They're in Montreal, but you're in Toronto, right?
Yeah. Well, Montreal's a little worse than here.
Yeah.
But it's still mostly contained to the old age homes. So as long as you're not, they're not there, then
Are you
you're
guys
fine.
on lockdown?
Not quite.
Okay.
You can't do indoor restaurants. You can't do movie theaters. But you can go outside. You can go grocery shopping. You can do most of the stuff. I think for us, wearing a mask isn't a big deal. It's not the Canadians are nice, right? So we don't protest this kind of stuff in general. But also too, it's not an election issue. It's not a political thing. It didn't become media trying to spin it one way or the other. So for the most part, we'll just do it. Wear a mask. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're good. Let's go. We'll wear a mask. Not
Sure.
everybody. I mean, but I think we also kind of caught it a little sooner, and it wasn't a political issue for us. So it's maybe a little bit easier than in the U.S. Toronto's the biggest city in Canada. It's like the 5th biggest city in North America. So we have more cases than other cities, but for the most part, I'm at home. This is easy for me, dude. I'm an introvert, so stay home, make content all day. Great, let's go. This is easy.
It's actually when you have to leave and go do things.
And listen, I don't mind, but I come alive when I can connect it to the work or the mission, right? So, I was flying to an event in February in Puerto Rico. So Brendan Burchard invited me to speak at his event. And so I'm flying down, and there's this guy next to me from Vancouver who's trying to chat me up on the airplane. And he's asking me where I'm from and all this stuff. And I'm not trying to be rude, but it's just I don't really care. But I remember everything about him. I remember he came from Vancouver, what time he woke up, and that he wanted his coffee decaf once he was in the air with 1 cream and no sugar. And he had this crazy leather backpack. I'm paying attention. I just don't want to have a conversation. I'd rather do my work or watch my videos or whatever. And then when we landed, I got my hotel, my cab to whatever, driver picks you up, and then he comes in, he's at the same hotel, and he's going to the same event as me. And I said, "Oh, you're an entrepreneur? What's your business, man? How do you know Brendan? Why are you here?" Right? As soon as I make the connection to entrepreneur, now I'm all ready to have the conversation and make it happen. But so if you care about entrepreneurship, salsa dancing, or League of Legends, we can have a great conversation. Anything else? The
Forget about it.
weather, the food, the it's like I'm not super interested.
So if for those paying attention, when you see Evan on the airplane, salsa dancing and entrepreneurship, and he will not shut up the whole plane ride.
And League of Legends. We could talk League of Legends deep, but yeah. Otherwise,
I don't
yeah.
know anything about League of Legends, and I can't dance, but at least I know what salsa dancing is.
Honestly, all you need to do is say, "Hey, I have a business."
And you're good?
Then we're good. Like, what's your business? Let's talk about it. But anything else, yeah, is super rough. So, I think that's actually common. I think a lot of introverts you'll find that, like, for the most part, you won't want to have. We just don't like small talk.
Sure.
I think we don't want to have small talk. We don't find the connection in the small talk. We connect through meaningful conversations and meaningful work.
Yeah, which makes sense. And at the end of the day, it also allows you to build stronger relationships with less people that are actually going to want material relationships with, versus just the on the surface ones, which you don't want because it's not comfortable.
Yeah, like I have one super deep relationship with my wife. Well, first
Sure.
yourself, right? Like I'm
Yep.
talking to myself all the time, but then my wife, and then like I guess my family. But I'm not. Again, I don't call my mom every week and all that. But there's a bunch of people who I feel super connected to, but again, I may not have seen in a year, but I know would have
Sure.
my back, and that's more what I guess I try to collect.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. My last question, normally it's in writing, so it's a little weird to ask it, but it's to put context to this, and just, again, answer it honestly, is how would you describe our relationship? Or it would say, with your relationship with Jeff Fenster, because I'm the author of the book, but our relationship.
How would I describe our relationship?
Yeah, so right on the spot. Introvert, answer, weird.
I like that it's weird. I like the on the spot. Even this, I mean, I think I see in you somebody who is on the come up, trying to make his mark, trying to get more up in front, being a guest on people's shows, doing the speaking gigs, in kind of prime to play a bigger game, prime to get on even bigger stages and bigger shows. I like that you jumped on this, right? I think it was supposed to be 3 written questions.
It's been 3 written. You're the only one that's been verbal. Everyone else got 3 written questions.
Right. And I said, hey, I'd much rather do it on a video. Just ask me the questions and we can have a conversation around it. I guess it's a little more work for you because you got to edit this down and turn it into something.
And I had to do my first live, so like you said, you broke my cherry on it.
And I like that you jump on it, right? Like that's part of the attraction too. Is like Jeff will say yes, and Jeff will try it, and Jeff will jump on it, and some people say no. Like there's been other interviews where I did the same thing. I hate having to write out answers to things, and I always love the extra context to. It's like, well, what do you mean by that? And then we can go deeper, and hopefully I can give a more thoughtful answer. But some people say no. Some people say, no, I'm doing it it has to be written because I want to copy paste your words or whatever. It's like, okay.
Okay. Don't they know there's an app that will transcribe it?
Well, I don't know. I don't care. I mean, I don't want to do it. I don't want to sit there, and I would much rather talk to you for 20 minutes than spend 10 writing out answers.
Sure.
Which feels weird as an introvert, right? But it's like we're co-creating. We're co-creating.
That's right.
You've got your book. How many people are part of the book?
I have 23 responses so far. I have 30 that I asked. I've received 23. You'll be 24.
Awesome. So
yeah, 2 per chapter. It's kind of like, instead of having the quotes, right? There's a lesson, and I did a course for LinkedIn on relationship capital and how to build, develop, and leverage. We're taking that course, turning it into a book, and then adding personal stories. And then instead of like the normal quotes, it's going to be Evan Carmichael's response to these three questions, and what does, who he is and why his response provides another set of color to the topic per chapter. Like that lead with value chapter, you're going to be perfect for, because you basically gave a great example of how you lead with value in your own way, which to introverts out there who may read the book, I'm not a true introvert, so I'm not answering them or providing context for them that might apply. They're like, yeah, Jeff, it's easy for you because you're not an introvert. I'm shy, but I'm not an introvert. But now to have your perspective, now it's like, hey, I'm an introvert like Evan, so I can learn these lessons, but see how he applies that same concept in his way. And it should hopefully add more value to the readers and make the book more valuable, and not just, a personal
it's the bonus
story
chapter.
thing that I'm getting at.
The bonus chapter. For introverts, read this. It's like,
Yes.
yeah, it's easy for you, Jeff.
And little secrets for the airplane. So But then the actual other part of the question was not like, and I appreciate that. Thank you, by the way, for the compliments. But not how good I am or anything nice about me, but just like how we met. Like, what would you say like our relationship? Because I think how we met is we met through Dave Meltzer, right?
I don't remember.
I think we met through Dave.
It could
Maybe
be.
we didn't.
Did Dave
Sounds
introduce
familiar.
us or what?
I want to say he did, but now you're making me second guess my own
Oh, I don't
confidence
know,
in that.
dude. My memory sucks at that kind of stuff. I
I
have
think
no
Dave
idea.
introduced us, which, but anyway, that the
So
question was just describing how we know each other, and I appreciate the very kind words. Thank you.
yeah, I mean, I think you messaged me about, hey, we both have. So this was a disconnect at the beginning because like, hey, we both have entrepreneur audiences. You said
Yeah,
something like this. We both have an entrepreneur audience. I think we could have fun on a jam session, just doing an
jamming.
Instagram live or something. Yeah. And for me, it's like, oh, okay. I don't know what to do with that. Because there's no like, what are we doing? But then as soon as you said, hey, I've got a book out and I want to ask you 3 questions, it's like, oh yeah, let's do it. Like
Yep.
now it becomes a priority to make that happen as opposed to just the first one kind of felt like hanging out. I was like, I don't hang out with
Yeah.
anybody. Not an
Yeah.
offense
Yeah.
to Jeff. I just don't like hanging out. But you want to work on a book, and if I can be a small part of the book creations and success, 1 out of 24 stories or whatever, is like awesome. I'm happy to do that. Let's go.
Well, and I'm a big fan of your new book, by the way. It's not that new anymore, but it's kind of new, Built to Serve.
Yeah.
So, want to make sure I give a shout out to anyone watching to definitely check out Evan's book because it's got a great purpose behind it. It's obviously well written, and you're a rock star, so everyone should definitely read that as well.
I think you should do more video interviews.
Okay.
How many more do you have left?
I sent the questions to 30 people. Told I have 15 chapters, so I'm trying to get 2 per chapter. You're the only one who asked to do it audio video, so I
Dude,
could go back.
I think it's better to do video. One, it gets you into talking about relationship capital. It makes you closer to the person who you're going to be. You care about these people. You value their
Sure.
opinion. So now you have FaceTime with them, which is going to be more valuable than them just giving an email response for the relationship capital you're now building with people.
Yeah, of course.
For Your One Word, my first book, I interviewed 5 different people who had done the things that I was trying to share in my book. And I spent a day with each person. And then I had somebody on my team transcribe and then pull out all the best parts so I could focus on just asking the questions and having a good dialogue as opposed to having to write everything up afterwards.
Yeah.
But that could also be bonus content.
I like
Like
it.
when you're trying to sell the book, hey, if you want to see these 10 interviews that I did with people and hear their full answers,
I like it.
leave your email address and I'll give
And
you the
also-
bonus.
And not just load them up on YouTube.
Well, you could do that too as lead gen or as interest for the book.
I
But
like
either
it.
way, like having content is always great beyond just what they give you in the email. If you want to throw it on YouTube, you just flip us so that we're side by side. And you could do, if you have 10 interviews, you can do them, once a day for 10 days before the book launch. And then it's like, hey, here's the research that went into this book coming
Yeah.
out.
It's great.
Or bonus material if they leave their email address. Just like people do, like get the free chapter, get the first chapter for free if you give me your email.
Yeah.
You get these 8 bonus interviews that are
Just a way to get them top of funnel.
25 minutes. Yeah, to get their email address, and then you can give them more value, and then you can send them the book.
Well, thank you for that because I'm actually might even consider going back to all the ones I already got. A lot of them are friends. I'm gonna say, guess what? We're now doing a video
IG
chat
Live
so we
together.
can
Let's
get-
go. Yeah.
And I think
you have a blast doing it too. You'll have fun.
I mean, I enjoy it. I literally, I love. I mean, people tell me I don't know how to shut up, so I love talking, and hanging out remotely and virtually is great. And I'm the opposite. I actually don't like being alone too much, so I like to be around other people more.
Yeah.
I'm not an introvert, but I am shy, which is unique. I'm a shy extrovert, where it's like I'm very bad in social settings where it's like meant to be fun. So if it's a club or if we went to a bar, I'm like uncomfortable, right? But if I'm at a business situation or it's professional, I'm great because I'm in my lane. Because I don't dance, I don't sing, I don't do karaoke, I don't drink. So I'm not the most fun to hang out with, socially, but professionally, I'm good at what I do and I'm passionate and inspired about it. So I'm in my own element. So this is fun for me.
Does anybody else in your list of 24 people have a decent Instagram size audience?
Almost all of them, yeah.
Awesome. Then you have to do it, because then what you do is you run swipe up ads against their audiences, where you see it like this, and you ask a question where you say, Evan, or whatever your first or second, I don't remember anymore, but whatever your first, second question was, and I'm just about to answer, and you say, hey, if you want to see Evan's answer, swipe up to get the video for free.
Okay.
And you run that against my audience. So they don't know you, but they know me. And
See,
then
I need to learn
up.
all these tactics. I don't know these hacks.
Well, I'm giving it to you, right? And then if everybody, like if you're doing it with Dave Meltzer, same thing. He's got a couple 100,000, right?
Yeah.
So same thing. You ask him a question, he's about to answer. He's like, oh my God, Jeff, you know what the answer is? And then, hey, if you want to see what he said, swipe up. And it goes to the landing page where they leave their email, and then you give them the videos. Brilliant. Yeah, and then you can sell them the book, right? So even if they have 10,000, followers, but if they've got bigger, it makes it a lot easier on your campaigns. And swipe up ads are pretty cheap, and so you end up hacking. I mean, I'm happy to share when it comes out, but this is an ongoing strategy. You can have that running for 3 years of swipe up ads against my audience, Dave's audience. Right now, you're targeting millions of people who don't know who you are yet, but they know your interviewee. Interviewee. And you start hacking their audience.
Well, that's a great idea. I didn't even think about any of that. Really, I was trying to add just value for the book, but now you just opened my mind to how we can use that content, and like you said, it can not only build my own brand and the book's value, but also hopefully cross-pollinate your audience to another audience that may or may not have been exposed to, and vice versa. Which is, again, weird how we're connecting relationships.
Relationship capital, it's happening.
That's right, baby. That's right. Well, dude, I want to thank you. This was awesome. I truly appreciate, you coming on today, making this suggestion, forcing me out of the paper written version and actually getting me to do my very first live, which people have been telling me to do for about a year, and I just keep not finding a reason not to do it. So thank you for pushing me out into that, because
it's happening. He did it. He popped the cherry.
I did it. And it's funny because literally last week I did my 100th podcast, like being a guest.
Yeah.
And I've also been working behind the scenes to start my own podcast, but I haven't really done it. And this goes hand in hand. This kind of thing where I'm the host and not the hostee, interviewee, whatever the right term is.
Wait, you need to interview Bo for your book.
Yes.
You know Bo, right? Yeah. Our mutual friend.
Bo already answered the questions.
Oh, did he? He's in the book?
He's in the book.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. Yeah.
It was a no-brainer for me. Bo had
Bo was the legend at connecting people. Okay, he's got some killer strategies too.
And I literally, trust me, I was talking with Bo. We were talking about something else, and I was like, hey, I need you to answer these questions. He's like, well, why don't you ask Evan? I was like, I'm going to, but I need Bo. I need your answers.
Oh, he's in the house. He says Bo in the house. He's down
What's
there
up,
below
Bo?
Too.
Yeah, Bo's the man.
Cool.
Bo's the man. Well,
so when's the book dropping? When's the book coming out?
The hope is it was going to hopefully be before the end of the year, but we're based on timing of everything. It might be the beginning of January. Otherwise, it'll be December, because everything else is done except for these pieces and the actual final design. There's little tweaks between the where it is now and where I want it to be.
Got it. Ooh, okay. You know what? One last hack. I'm gonna give you one last hack for Instagram. Okay. You're doing how many? 24? How many interviews are you going to do?
30.
30? Oh, 30 is perfect.
Yep.
Okay. And they all have some kind of Instagram following.
Yes.
Great.
Everything from professional athletes to politicians to entrepreneurs to big podcast hosts. Just friends of mine and relationships that I've developed to show both quality relationships that are like Dave Meltzer, who's my brother, to people I've met in the last 6 months. And to show that whether you're a professional athlete, an entrepreneur, a politician, a podcast host, or a badass stay-at-home mother or father, relationship capital can obviously add value, and there's ways to apply it and develop and grow.
Okay, so here's what you do. You make every day of the month you assign it to a different person in the 30. So, like, what's today? November?
Yeah.
I have no idea. You could
Yeah.
basically, you could almost say anything. You could say it's like the 15th or the 20th or the 3rd. Like, I have no idea.
Yeah, well, let's go with the 10th. Let's go with
It's
the
the
10th.
10th. Perfect.
Today's
Okay.
the 10th.
So November 10th is going to be Evan Carmichael Day. And then the
Okay.
10th of every month is Evan Carmichael Day.
Okay.
What you do is, this is a half an hour talk we've done now. You take the 3 best moments from this that make me look good.
Okay. Well, they all make you look good, but okay.
Well, no, but like, it's not you talking, you make me talking, right? Like, you're there.
Yeah.
And you edit this video into the 3 best moments that are 15 seconds to 1 minute. You put your book in the middle, right? Like, interview for, what's the name of your book?
Can't disclose it yet.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay.
I thought I forgot it. Okay,
No,
so
it's okay.
like in the line here, between us, says interview for whatever, and you show the image of the book. You put the first clip up on November 10th, the second clip up on December 10th, the third clip up on January 10th. Did we lose him? He's back? Okay, and then the first clip again on February 10th. And then the second clip again on, right? You just keep cycling through, all the way through. So the 10th of every month is Evan Carmichael Day. And then you tag me in those stories.
Okay.
That's a 1-click share to my audience, to my stories. If you're making me look good, very easy. And if you make me look good, you're basically doing the work for my team, right? Now I don't need to have somebody on my team cut clips and put them up. So I'll promote your book because you've tagged me. Most people only pay attention to the launch, but they don't pay enough attention to the ongoing. So
Smart.
The 10th of every month, and nobody remembers that you only need 3 best clips. Nobody remembers that it was like 3 months ago. Didn't you play that same clip?
I know.
Nobody remembers that stuff, right? So if you tag me in every story, right, for Evan Carmichael Day, if I see it, I'm going to share it. And a lot of the people probably will too. Like if Dave sees it, he'll share it.
Sure.
Now you're hacking Dave's audience. And so every day of the month, you're hacking somebody else's audience again where they're likely to share it. And your book is, even though I'm the one talking, like if it's all you talking, I'm going, yeah. That's not really going to help you, right? They're not going to likely share that. So you make them look good. Take the most genius thing that I said, but you've got your book up here. I'm sharing it to my audience and helping get more exposure.
Sure. No, brilliant. Guess
go.
what? That's going to be one of your Evan Carmichael clips. That hack.
Okay.
You want
That
one of the
hack.
top hacks from Evan
There we
Carmichael?
go.
Swipe up.
That's the secret.
That's
Cool,
awesome.
man. Well, good luck
That
with
is
the
awesome.
book.
Well, thank you so much. I'm going to send it all to you early advance so you can take a look for being a part of it. Make sure you're happy with it all. And shout out to Bo.
I'm happy with it all.
There.
I don't need to see it. It's good.
You're the man.
I trust you. Okay.
Thank you.
Much
Thank you
love,
so
man.
much.
Have a great
All right.
weekend.
You too.
Ciao.
Bye.